know that.
But if they don't go, I don't go.
And why are they here?
My call.
It's not your call to make. Know the rules. You all do. As we know, decisions like the one we are about to make can come with a heavy price. I remember. And I know that you do too.
Hey Walking Dead fans, this is going to be another video on the X scars, some theories, some more information that's come out, some things that Angela Kang, the showrunner, has said, and you know, the two scars, the X's on Michonne and Daryl. It is a big mystery. A lot of people are talking about it, asking about it, making up theories about it. It raises questions like, why doesn't Michonne let Magna's group stay in Alexandria? And why is it that Hilltop doesn't like Michonne? And why is it Michonne doesn't want to be a part of the fair that Kingdom is doing? But this is what Angela Kang said from Cinema Blend. So the scars. Clearly our group has been through some stuff in the 6 years that we've jumped. I will say that within the back half we will start to learn more about what the story was. There will be an answer for the audience in terms of what was the origin of these scars and what kind of led Alexandria a bit down the path that it's been on. What's exciting about the 6-year gap is there's some opportunities to play with time and maybe see some of what that story was in the future. So that's kind of what I'll say. She said it's definitely something that is a big part now of the backstory of Alexandria and the people there. It's something that looms large in their minds and has obviously had an effect on them because 6 years is a long time. So stuff had to have happened. So they've all been through a lot, some more than others. So I think that's a pretty big key thing, part of what she said, some more than others. So that could mean individual characters like Daryl and Michonne has went through more than the others have, or it could be the communities. Alexandria has went through more hardships maybe than Kingdom and Hilltop. But in an earlier interview, Angela Kang said what we know is that she has a big X on her back. It wasn't there before, so it's something that has happened during that time jump. She alludes to it in the council room when she takes the chances of the group that's come there. She says that she remembers and that she knows that many of them do too. They have obviously, in the 6 years that have passed, faced some probably human foes that have affected the way that they deal with new people and their level of trust. It's definitely something that we'll learn more about as the years goes on. So in that, she said, they have obviously, in the 6 years that have passed, faced some probably human foes that have affected the way they deal with new people and their level of trust. So they face some human foes, and those human foes have affected the way they deal with new people and their level of trust. But does this mean a war between the communities? I don't think it does necessarily. But Michonne did say, you know, I wonder what Maggie's going to do when she sees me. And that's when Sadiq says Maggie's not there. And so what did Michonne mean by that, though? That I wonder what Maggie's going to do when she sees me.
If Michonne knew I was violating protocol like this, but Michonne, she doesn't even know about Maggie.
To try and get Alexandria on board with the fair.
She'll be fine. We all will. Because we have to be. I would know.
The big question kind of lies in all of that. Does all of that have to do with the same thing, the same event? Was these outsiders, these new people, human foes that Angela Kang mentioned, do these human foes that they allowed into the community, possibly it seems like Alexandria, the reason for the X scars, the reason Michonne and Maggie are kind of not getting along, the reason the communities are not getting along, the reason the trust isn't there between Michonne and the other communities? No, they don't. But that previous statement that Angela Kang had said that I'd read, it kind of makes you or leads you to believe that those two things do have something to do with each other. But in a different statement, I will say that it does not directly have to do with that. Kang said of the X's and the Alexandria Hilltop falling out. She did say answers to both of those stories, both of those mysteries, will come in the back half of season 9. But that the X's and whatever happened between Michonne and Hilltop and Maggie and whatever's going on between the communities is something different. Kang said it's a story that we will tell in the second half of the season. Clearly something has happened during the time jump, and one of those things, we kind of just wanted to seed in the idea that 6 years have passed. A lot of story has happened off screen that we didn't see. The story will continue to unfold as the season goes on. So at least we can go from this point knowing that whatever happened between the communities is not directly related to the X's on Daryl and Michonne. Michonne, rather, had to drop her weapons at the gate and was treated kind of much more hostile. So definitely the tension between Michonne and Hilltop doesn't spill over to Daryl, it didn't look like. But Michonne and Daryl both have the X scar. Okay, as far as the theories go, there's the theory out there that Michonne and Daryl put the X there as some type of tribute to the wound of Rick. But a lot of us say that, Michonne and Daryl doesn't know where the wound was on Rick. They didn't really see it very good. Of course, Daryl could have scouted around and figured it out, with his expert tracking skills. That's kind of far-fetched, but slightly plausible. And now that we know that Angela Kang, she was vague at first in some of her statements, but she said it is not directly related. The X scars and the rift between the communities, Hilltop and Michonne, if those are two different events, then I'm pretty sure Maggie's not involved. So any theory that involves Maggie or possibly a war between the communities or, anything that deals with whatever the tension is, we should be able to exclude any theories that involve the X scars and maybe Maggie or Hilltop or that tension that we see between them. So the branding theory is still a pretty good possibility, but that just seems far-fetched with it. We've only seen the X's on Michonne and Daryl. The statement Angela Kang said some more than others have been affected. We still don't clearly have an indication of, is the X scars and the strangers coming in, is that connected? Or is the strangers coming in and the tension between Michonne and Hilltop connected? So a good theory for the X scars may have to exclude whatever the tension is between Hilltop and Alexandria and the possibility of strangers coming into Alexandria causing some type of bad, fucked up thing to happen. So one thing we can look at is, Daryl said he's been out looking for Rick's body for a long time. So you can see how Rick's death affected him. And I'm sure it affected Michonne the same way. Hey, was members of Alexandria captured and branded somehow? I don't see how Daryl maybe got mixed up in it if he was out looking for Rick's body, kind of living out on the outskirts. You have to wonder how he got mixed up in it. I really don't think it's between the communities where Maggie come down with some law and then Michonne and Daryl broke it somehow, because Daryl's kind of on Maggie's side. It was Daryl and Maggie was looking for the killers of those saviors and found Oceanside and then just turned their backs and let that happen. So Daryl was kind of on Maggie's side more than Michonne's side.
Coming here, I knew people would still be angry, but it doesn't make it any easier.
And while Michonne was at Rosita's bedside at Hilltop, she said she knows that people there at Hilltop will be angry at her, and it doesn't make it any easier to be there. And Sadiq says it's not too late to mend some of those fences, and she says she knows it's not, but she's not going to. Not the way they want her to. So what is the way that they want her to mend the fences, the broken connection that's between them, Hilltop and Alexandria?
Not the way they want me to. I didn't make the choices I made because I thought they'd be easy.
What is it Hilltop wants Alexandria or Michonne to do, or to act, or to be, in order to mend some of those fences? She said she didn't make the choices that she made because she thought they'd be easy. And then she said, at least they're alive so they can hate me for it.
At least they're alive so they can hate me for it.
Very interesting words. What do you guys make of all of that? How does all of those words, in what kind of way, tells us what's going on?
I know what you went through, and I get why this is hard for you, but we've all lost something.
While Michonne and Carol were talking, Carol said, I know what you went through, after Michonne said, we've had our troubles too. Like, something did happen to Alexandria, but it seems like something else or other things could have happened to the other communities. Carol says, I know what you went through, and I know why this is hard for you, but we've all lost something. But Michonne goes on to say, kingdom is kingdom, Hilltop is here, and Alexandria is there. And there's a whole lot of broken world otherwise. So a whole lot of broken world.
And in between, there's a whole lot of broken world. And we cannot pretend otherwise. We've got to take care of our own now.
Michonne says, we got to take care of our own now. That's just the way it is. So somewhere in that 6 years, right up until when Rick died, it was, hey, Carl wanted this vision of all the communities working together. Let's try to build this bridge. All of that started breaking down with the Saviors and the bridge building. It had just fell apart. All of the community building was kind of crumbling around Rick right about the time he died. So was it a natural progression of the communities just eventually becoming their own thing and worrying about themselves? I just don't know if there's enough information, that they've given us enough information to allow us to figure it out. And, I've heard commenters say already that, I wish we knew what this was, and that they haven't really heard a good theory they could latch onto yet. And I'm kind of the same way. I don't know. I just don't know what it could be, and it's just fun discussing it. So here we are. But if you know some more theories or expand on the theories that we've already been talking about, definitely put them in the comments below. Anything that Angela Kang said this time that maybe you caught that maybe I didn't inside the stuff that she said. Looks like they're going to have us guessing at this mystery at least up until the 10th when The Walking Dead returns. But I'm sure more information may come out. You guys may mention something in the comments that I'll definitely have to make a new video, or a new theory may come out we may have to discuss. But until then, as always, thanks for watching. And don't forget to subscribe for more dead stuff.